You. Yes, you. Do you love D&D? Well, great. Me too. You know what I don't love about D&D? Everything. And that's why I'm fixing it in this video. Okay, but for real, I've been playing 5th edition for the last 3 years, and as much as I love the system, there are just a few things that have always bugged me. So here are 5 homebrew rules I use on my table, and not all of them are the most balanced of things, but I enjoy them, and I hope you enjoy them. And if you disagree with them, that's totally fine. But I want to hear what house rules you guys use at your tables, and if I like them, I might put them in my game. Alright, so I don't want to clickbait you guys, so I probably should start with strength damage. Coming from someone who played 3.5 in Pathfinder in middle school, strength was always just kind of better than dex with damage. And that's just not the case in 5th edition. Dexterity, on average, does almost identical damage to strength, unless you're wielding a two-handed weapon. Strength wielders with a two-handed weapon, sadly, only deal on average at 2 extra damage every attack compared to dexterity. And if you need proof of this, I'll put some graphs on screen I made to show the difference between dexterity damage and strength damage. And while most groups won't find this an issue, me being the munchkin I am, doesn't like it. And believe me, I hear your cries in the comments. Hachi, how do we fix this grievous oversight? Well, if you and your DM think it's as big a deal as I think it is, which you shouldn't, then here's what I do in my games. It's pretty simple. You just add half your strength modifier rounded down to any one-handed melee attacks, and add double to any two-handed. On average, if your fighter has 16 strength at level 1, he's going to be dealing an extra 3 damage a round for two-handing a weapon, and 1 damage a round for one-handing. And if you really think this is too strong, just remember, monsters get this bonus damage as well. My second rule is intelligence proficiencies. I'll put my graph on screen right now, but the gist of it is, for every point of intelligence you have above 10, you get some more benefits, such as some extra tools, some skills, and a couple languages, and if you have 15 intelligence, you get an expertise. This, however, does cap out at 15, just so wizards and artificers don't get insane. And again, this stems from Pathfinder and 3.5, but the reason I like this rule so much is that it encourages people not to dump intelligence. Tweak it if you want, but this is what I use in my games. This next rule is less of a homebrew rule and more of a house rule, if that makes sense. And I call it variant skill ability scores. It's a bit odd at first, but once you start using this rule, you're never going to go back, as it opens up hundreds of new ways to use skills. When searching the city streets, why make an intelligence investigation check when you can make a charisma investigation check to talk to the locals and gain information by showing your character's smarts and way with words? When running long distances and exerting yourself, instead of just a boring constitution saving throw or a strength athletics, why not a constitution athletics check to restrain yourself from overexerting yourself? Allowing players to change the ability score they use with skills opens up a wide variety of new ideas, and will make your players think of crazy new ideas that you as a dungeon master have not thought of. Would make total sense for the situation. I personally cannot tell you how a strength perception check would work, but I know someone out there can make it work. This one is mostly a case-by-case basis, but will open up a lot of new ways to play different spellcasters. Perhaps you're a vigilant paladin sworn to the Oath of the Watchers, seeking out extraplanar threats and protecting the material realm from those who would dare harm the natural order of things. A warlock gone mad due to his research studying the far realm, slowly losing a grip on his reality as the creature he saw a mere glimpse of extends a pact to gain more power and knowledge. A bard uses his wit and words in battle to inspire his allies with his vast and overwhelming knowledge of the battlefield and the art of war, and knowing that half the battle is knowing your enemy. While these are all a little cliche, per se, by simply changing the ability score you use for spellcasting and abilities, you can create a vastly different character. And finally, in some of our games, me and my husband use a variant to the XP system called a treasure system. And instead of me poorly explaining how it's used, I'm gonna have my husband come in and explain it. Take it away, Chios.
Hello, Dungeon Masters, new, old, and somewhere in between. Have you ever thought, what do I give my players? What should this creature have? I don't know. Who knows? It could be anything. Why not? The treasure system. The treasure system, instead of handing out XP and gold, items or other things as part of your loot tables or whatnot, it's a system that is more oriented to player creativity, where the Dungeon Master hands out a ambiguous, non-existent resource called treasure instead of these XPs, gold pieces, and items. While in a safe location, players can convert treasure into experience points. 1-to-1. 1 treasure, 1 experience. This is also how much treasure you give out per encounter. It's just equal to the creature's experience points. But when defeating creatures and ending combat counter, they can convert that same treasure into physical items. Maybe they just happen to need one thing or another. I was hoping that the local creepy crawlers had it on them. And in these cases, when you're converting treasure into things, it is 1 treasure point into 5 silvers worth. So, 100 treasure will be 50 gold worth of things. And this gives your players the opportunity to shape what they find. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you, babe. If you like this treasure system, go ahead and give it a try in your games and tell me how it goes. And that's pretty much it. I hope I didn't make too many people mad. Links to my Twitter and my Discord are in the description. I'd also like to give a huge shout out to my friend Ashley for making this awesome background. Her links are on screen and in the description. And if you'd like more of this content, go ahead and give me a sub. I'm at a brand new channel. I hope you'll watch more of my D&D content in the future. So, later, nerds.